Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
'Well, hello again, and welcome to episode 160 of There's Still Time, the AFTN podcast. I'm Michael McCall.
And I'm Steve Pounder.
And we're coming from BC Place after a frustrating afternoon for the Whitecaps. 2-1 defeat to the New England Revolution. A game that afterwards Cal Robinson said that they didn't get what they deserved out of it. They should have won it. And he feels that 9 times out of 10, they would have won that game.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10. Also, what did I wasn't there for his thing. What did he mean by they deserve? Was it
he felt that they deserved to win? Yeah.
Or was he talking about something else?
Basically, Robbo feels that they put in an excellent performance, and that the way that they played and the chances that they created, which was 17 shots to 8, that they deserved to not even just get a draw, but they deserved to win that game.
But 17 to 8. But the bigger stat was shots inside the box, and that was 10. They had 10 shots inside the box.
And the ball bobbled about several times where no one actually got a foot on it.
So and because they got 4 on target overall, they didn't show how many they got on target inside the box. 4 on target overall, 2 were from outside the box. I know that for sure. The Manny hit from far away, which was just kind of Knighton just picked up. And then the Mosquito shot that they scored on. So out of 10 shots inside the box, only 2 hit the target. That's not good enough.
No.
And that's what I guess he means by that.
There was a lengthy 3-week break from MLS action, but in the past we've seen that when the Whitecaps have a lengthy break like this, they come back a little bit flat. And you couldn't actually say that they were flat today, because I feel that they played at a good pace.
They were inconsistent, I think, at times.
Yeah, but they did create their chances. Yeah. It was, for me, the difference was clinically in front of goal. New England didn't get many chances, but what they took, they finished with aplomb.
Yeah. We'll talk about their 2 goals right off the bat. Woodbury just basically Jordan Smith stood there. It was a free kick, I think.
Well sent in by Lee Wynn.
Jordan Smith stood there in the box, looking at the ball, waiting to clear it out instead of going after the ball. While he was waiting there, Woodbury, their center back,
ghosts in unmarked,
just comes in between him and I think it was Lava or something like coming back.
Might have been Harvey.
Oh, I can't remember which one, but one of them. But that person wasn't the problem. It was Smith, because he should have gone after it and knocked it out.
Yeah, I mean there was no challenge at all in the box to try and get it.
It was a clean header.
Yeah, I said no chance at all. And they'd actually rattled one off the post not long before that from a header as well. Yeah. Which the guy, I think it was Rowe, was unmarked in the box
at that time
as well. So it's not the first time this season. It's definitely not going to be the last, the way the defence is playing. It's a stat. I need to go back and look at all the goals that they've conceded. To me, vast majority of them appears to be unmarked players in the box.
Individual mistakes, just dumb moves. You're talking about unmarked. Kelyn Rowe, the goal he scored. Tybert got hacked down. They were complaining big time about that, but even then,
Tybert needs to get up when the call's not there.
Yeah.
But he was.
Well, we don't know if he was
position.
hurt. If it was a stinger, you're not going to get up.
But then the ball comes across to Rowe.
Yeah.
One striker against 3 Whitecaps defenders.
Yeah.
First time shot, bottom corner, excellent finish.
Well, they had the England coach Jay Heaps said that Kamara was occupying the 2 central defenders, but I didn't see that too much. But I think it was. And my question is, where's Laba? because those guys drop back a little bit. And Rowe was talking about in his post-game interview that when something like that happens, he sees the defenders pull like back into the 6-yard area. He kind of peeled out on top of the box waiting for the pass there, and he took it from Bunbury and finished it really nicely too.
Oh, it was a great finish. It was the kind of finishing we did not see from the Whitecaps this afternoon.
The kind of finishing you want to see Mane when Hurtado set him up inside the box, and all he had to do was like guide it into the net, and he skied that. I mean, that was unbelievable.
That was year. I don't know. I mean, he was through 1-1 earlier in the season.
That was Maddox-esque.
Yes. Yeah, if Maddox had been doing that, you would have like crucified him for it.
Yeah,
but
that was a horrible.
It's Mane, and I think he just got excited. He didn't get his foot over the ball. He got his foot underneath the ball. It went blasting high.
They need to. He had a lot of space. He should have taken that. And that's the one thing these Whitecaps don't do. They don't take that extra touch if they notice that they don't have space. They just want to hammer everything through the net, into the stands, into the parkade.
And the Whitecaps' goal did come from a fantastic free kick, Nicholas Mosqueda.
For sure.
And Mosqueda had such a good game in the win over Ottawa that you expected him to start in the number 10 role today anyway, with Pedro missing through suspension. But he didn't light it up the way that he did against Ottawa, and I was a little bit disappointed with him.
Yeah, other than the free kick, which you called. You were calling that before that even happened. Give me credit for that.
Knighton left so much space at that side. It was just he had to go there.
Yeah, and then so basically, other than that free kick, he kind of disappeared and really didn't link up very well with Laba or Tybert. It seemed like, although Tybert wasn't linking up with anybody, he just seemed to be wanting to spend all his time with the center backs, Jacobson and Parker.
Which is probably what he was told to do.
But still, you got to move it forward a little bit. They spent a lot of time back and forth along the back line, and they weren't getting those passes into the dangerous areas.
I mean, the word I would use to sum up the performance, I thought, or the game, was frustration.
Yeah.
Frustrating game. Robbo several times said that he thought it was an excellent performance, and it's just that it wasn't their day.
Yeah.
But you make your own luck in this game. And they created chances, and Eric Hurtado squandered a great one just before half-time, straight through on the keeper. We were talking about it. He should have gone round him because Knighton had committed to going down.
Knighton was basically had his foot still. He couldn't move along with him. He was just ready to take the shot on. And Hurtado, this is maybe comes with experience. He should have noticed that. Obviously, it's easy to see from up there. Where we are, but if he had just taken 2 more steps forward and done the same shot, that's in the net, 100%.
And we'll talk about Hurtado's performance in the next little segment as well. Yeah, he got man of the match, but we'll come to that. Before we go any further with our thoughts, let's hear a little bit now from both head coaches. So first of all, we're going to hear from the victorious New England head coach Jay Heaps, watching his team get their first road win of the season, and coming a couple of days after a grueling 120-minute battle in the US Open Cup. And then we'll also hear from a more upbeat than I expected, Carl Robinson. Not a lot from Carl, because as always you'll get that on the Caps website, but we'll play a little bit from Robbo. So here's both coaches.
Really proud of our guys because it was tough, and playing 120 minutes on Wednesday, guys like Jose, London, Scotty, they all played 90 plus to 120, so really proud of what they were able to do. And look, we played against a really good Vancouver team. They were dangerous, organized, and we knew we had to take on and weather the storm a little bit. And I thought we did a great job of that.
Another good performance from Brad Knighton. Played well on Wednesday. Another great one today. Has it kind of given you something to think about for the starting position going forward now?
Well, I think certainly. I mean, that was what we were hoping for, was a lift from Brad, and we knew he was always going to get that Open Cup game, and I think he really rose to that occasion, and again tonight. So yeah, it's we'll go back and look, but really like what we see from him. Yes.
Coach, can you talk about maybe the turnaround your team's had? I think you've got 3 wins in your last 4 games. What's different now than from at the start of the season?
Well, it did coincide with the signing of Kei and the trade for Kei, so that definitely gave us a lift and another really good soccer player. And even though he hasn't scored yet, he's really dangerous, and I think he's occupying so much attention that guys like Kelyn was able to find that ball at the top of the box, because when we looked at the replay, two guys are covering Kei, so there's a little bit more space for the guys around him. So that's been one thing. To be honest with you, I think early in the year, and Jeff can attest to this, but I didn't think we were playing poorly. I thought we weren't getting results. We were a little naive in situations. So now I want to continue to put together 90-minute performances. We were putting together 70, 60-minute performances and losing on a bad play. Now we're putting together 90 minutes, and I think that's been the most important thing over the last 4 games.
With the way you've started, you've been a bit of a draw specialist of sorts now, but now you're trying to get upperly mobile in the East, which is definitely there for the taking. A win like this really gives you a chance now to really get up there, because there was a certain amount of expectation you'd be up around the summit in the East, in the Eastern Conference, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we were, like you said, we felt we were, as I mentioned, I didn't think we were playing poorly, but we were managing. We weren't managing games well and losing. When I say losing games, we weren't losing as we were giving away points. Wins up a goal and giving up a tie or something like that. And so I think that, and I've always said this, when you can put together ties, if they're good ties, and you follow up with a win on the road, you really put yourself in position. And I think that there are expectations. We want to be battling, the Eastern Conference top. I feel like that's an expectation from the beginning of the year, and we have a core group of guys that have been together. So our expectations are to continue to push, to push the Eastern Conference and be at the top of that as best we can.
So, Carol, obviously a frustrating night. Was the main difference just clinicalness in front of goal?
Yeah, I think so. I think the performance was excellent. I just said to the guys in there, the result is disappointing. I've got a disappointed bunch of players in there, because I think we didn't get what we deserved today. I think we deserved to win the game, but it's what you do in both boxes.
In the past, when there's been games where there's been a big break as well, the teams come out a little bit flat, a little bit sluggish, but there was a lot of intensity tonight. Did the 2 games in the Canadian Championship help with that?
I think so. I think the personnel as well. We had a number of players missing, and the guys who come in stepped up their levels. I thought we were excellent, but we lost.
Circumstances kind of dictated what the team was going to be today, but are suspensions starting to kill the team a little bit now?
Well, they did today. I had 3 players missing, and that's a disappointing thing, but the other guys who stepped in took their chances. So, do we need to be better at that? Yeah, we do. And I've addressed it with the guys, and we will be better than that. But, some things are in my control, which that is, but other things aren't, unfortunately.
So as both coaches there, Jay Heaps and Kyle Robinson. Jay Heaps obviously really proud, as he said, of his team's performance. And we have to touch on the fact that they did play a US Open Cup game on Wednesday, 120 minutes in Carolina. Really grueling 1-0 win in the end. It was hot there too. Yeah, hot. Yeah. And 8 of the players that started today played a big part in that. 5 of the ones that started today started on Wednesday, with 3 of the guys coming on as subs early in the second half, and then obviously playing extra time as well.
No, 2 of them came on early in the second half. 1 came in the 80th minute.
Kamara so that was both
late. Tierney came on late.
Tierney?
Yeah, Tierney.
But he still played 40 minutes.
40 minutes still, yeah, and the travel and everything. It's a game that they should have won.
Yeah,
honestly, there was no excuse for not winning.
I have to give full credit to New England. They did not look tired.
Well,
the last closing minutes, they maybe had a little bit of heavy legs, and the turf here is going to do that as well. But if you had said which one of these teams had just played a 2-hour game a couple of days ago, you couldn't really have picked them.
No, not really.
I was very impressed. Someone asked me as we're going down to the press conference, would I class that as an excellent New England performance or a poor Vancouver performance?
I want to say excellent New England, but I think it was a professional New England performance.
That's actually a good way of wording it, because they did everything that they needed to do. They were clinical in front of goal. I was very impressed with them, and they seem to have turned it right now. 3 wins in the last 4 games.
And the first one on the road this year, which we seem to be giving away. Like the first road to every team is like Houston got their first point on the road last time. New England gets their first win on the roads. It seems like the Whitecaps are just not feeling it at home at all.
No, and let's talk about some of the Whitecaps performances now. Mm-hmm. Who was your man of the match? Eric Hurtado got it. He did put in a shift. I feel bad knocking him because it's a different Eric Hurtado that we're seeing this year. And I had a discussion with someone else after the game as well. We discussed Hurtado's performance today. I felt that he should have taken his chances, and I'm not seeing that he's an MLS quality player. And the person that I was speaking to, who I won't say who it was, he felt that it was unfair to say that. He is MLS quality and that he's come on leaps and bounds this season from last season. And he has.
Yeah,
but,
I agree with that, he has.
But has he come on from 2 years ago when he had that run of games where he got all the goals?
But that was only 5 games. You can't.
Yeah,
really
that's exactly what the guy said to me.
Yeah, you can't really judge it basically 2 years ago.
But the guy's 25 now.
That's
has
the
he
issue.
hit his ceiling? Is he going to get any better? Can you teach him to finish?
The thing is with a lot of players, especially in MLS, it seems like a lot of players do tend to keep growing and get better. It's not everywhere, but there's always like 1 or 2 players, maybe 3 per team, that if the longer they stay with the team, the actual better they get, and they actually start playing well.
And maybe a lot of it comes
later.
from the guys that's come from the college scene because they haven't had the development that they need.
Exactly, yeah.
But
not everybody could be Tim Parker. He just shows up and be really ready to play.
I wanted Perez to start today, but I genuinely thought Hurtado was going to start because the way that him and Manny have linked up in the last couple of games. But what I found out after the game is Blas actually, he wasn't on the bench because of his exertions with Panama and Copa America. He actually took a knock in training.
Oh.
So he wasn't deemed possibly good to start the game.
Or at least go 90 minutes.
Yeah. So he looked good when he came on. He rocketed a chance high over the bar as well. But, I mean, Hurtado put in a hard shift. He did a lot of work. But he was your striker. He's the guy that you want to put the ball in the net. And he was doing all the work, crossing the ball into the box, and then there's no one there to finish it.
I'm basically going from the top to the top of the formation to the back, and the only player who I think really played well and really pushed forward, while he didn't get very many chances, but he's not supposed to, is Jordan Harvey.
Yeah, he was my man of the match.
Jordan Harvey was all over the field. He was attacking their fullbacks, their wingers, getting balls before they got over the line, crossing the ball in. He sent in some nice crosses too that could have been attacked better.
There was so many times in the second half you see someone going up the wing or a ball coming over and you look and it's like, oh, it's Harvey again.
Yeah, no, he was all over the pitch.
Phenomenal.
I think he was
the AJ Styles of the Whitecaps.
Yeah, he was. I think he was. The problem is unless he scores a goal, nobody's really going to notice it.
Yeah.
Or unless somebody converts his.
Or unless he makes a bad mistake at the back and then someone's going to notice that.
Obviously, yeah. But he's an example of a player who was solid and then is now really becoming a really good player in MLS.
Yeah,
really, where would this team be without Jordan Harvey at this point?
I can't speak highly enough of how he's played this year, and he's kept Sam Adekugbe completely out the lineup.
Yeah, and probably hurt his confidence too, Sam.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Sam has actually gone backwards a little bit from his performances in some of the USL games.
Yeah, I think his confidence. A lot of it has to do with confidence because he's not getting that MLS minutes.
But for me, Harvey was the man of the match.
Yeah,
Bolaños was lively when he came on. I knew he wasn't going to get the start because he just played with Costa Rica a couple of days ago. I asked Carroll after the game, did he feel that the suspensions are now kind of starting to take its toll on the team? And he said, well, today, yeah, because they were missing 3 key guys. Kendall, 2 designated players, Octavio and Pedro.
But on the pitch as well, I think it's having an effect because, and I think I 100% agree that they had a reason to question some of those yellow cards, like the Jordan Smith one and a couple other ones. But it seems like whenever they got a yellow card and maybe New England didn't get a call against them, that it would really frustrate the heck out of the Whitecaps players, and they were letting the referee show it. And then obviously the referee's going to keep going against the Whitecaps because he's getting yelled at by them. The bench was having a go at the lino, and it was just back and forth. And they were really, after that second goal, when they felt the balls, there should have been a foul called because Tiber went down. That one really took it over the edge. And after that, there was one incident where a New England player took down, a Whitecap took down a New England player in the New England blocks, and they called that one like soon after the goal was scored, and that was when everybody just went livid. Because that was basically the similar play.
There is definitely a feeling in the camp, I think, that the referees have got it in for them, and
Yeah.
they have to shake that. They can't have that mentality, whether we feel it or not, which I do.
Well, I feel that the refereeing today was horrendous. Some people know in the stands, Andy O'Brien was here. He got a really nice applause, but I spoke to him downstairs and I asked him, and he said compared to 2 years ago, the refereeing has gone downhill, and it's really no comparison. And I was speaking, we're talking about Euro a little bit, and everybody's praising the refereeing there. I think everybody in North America is praising it because they're seeing what they're seeing in MLS, and they just they see the difference in quality, and that's why it's so good there.
And Robbo had said, we didn't put this in Robbo's soundbite there, but Robbo said after the game that he learned something today, that he was questioning a call. I think it might have been on timer, actually. I'm not sure.
I think that's the one. Are you
yeah,
talking?
and he had said, I learned that it's a new rule that if you kick a player's foot, it's not going to be a free kick.
Yeah.
And then a minute later, my player does that, and then he gets a free kick against him.
That's what happened. That's what I was talking about. That's when that's when during the game I was telling you that Robinson actually clapped and then patted the lino on the back or something like that. At that point, that's when that whole incident occurred.
And I mean, we haven't really spoken about the suspensions and everything that were handed out. Now, Kendall got the 2-game ban.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to argue against that.
I'm not arguing against that one at all. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, and you do have to wonder if things are going to be in his head now, especially because he got sent off for Costa Rica as well in the first game at Copa.
Yeah.
So he's not having a good time with it. He's definitely having a lot of time to spend with his family and a lot of time for rest. He's going to be well rested for the playoffs. Pedro, the Whitecaps appealed that. It was turned down.
And I don't know how the hell that was turned down. Like
because the referee's report said that Pedro had put his hands to the player's face.
And there's clear video evidence that there was no touching of the face.
And that's why they appealed it. But I think it was turned down because Pedro did still push him. So he raised his hand.
After
so
the red card was
by
given.
the letter of the law, it would be a suspension. No, I kind of get that because he did raise his hands.
Well,
now, the Octavio
raise your
Rivero
hands, everybody
one.
out there.
The Octavio suspension.
Silly, another one.
Now, I thought this was really harsh until it was pointed out to me that there's some video footage that actually shows that Octavio did clip the keeper.
Yeah, we know he clipped the keeper. That
no, I didn't actually think I didn't think he made contact.
No, he did make contact with him.
But
it was clipping, and then there were.
But he left his foot in, so I don't think you can kind of really.
Oh, I still don't. I think it's that happens quite often.
Yeah.
Was Jordan Smith now going to get one?
That was what I was going to ask you. It's like Smith gets booked today. Knighton got injured. The way that Disco are going, surely Smith is now going to get a suspension for endangering the keeper
because he's a Whitecap and he hurt somebody.
Yeah. So I mean, he's bound to get suspended during the week. Probably get told on Friday. So, any other performances from the Whitecaps today that you wanted to talk about?
No, not really.
Okay.
Parker, Jacobson were solid. I didn't think they really to blame for anything.
I actually like the Parker Jacobson centre back pairing.
Yeah.
I'm liking it a bit more than Parker Waston.
Yeah. Oh, I think Alstead really had no chances on either one of those goals, so nothing to blame for him either.
But I mean, it's frustration. They're giving up silly free kicks again on the edge of the box, one of which was punished today. But New England, full credit to them, they did well. Brad Knighton was one of a number of Whitecaps that came back. Lee Wynn, he was only really here for a cup of coffee though, and a few inappropriate tweets. And Daigo Kobayashi, he was back as well, still looking as bad as he was when he played for us. But Brad Knighton had an outstanding game for the Revs on Wednesday night in that win against Carolina, was given the nod today over Shuttleworth, which I think surprised people, and they probably wouldn't have been prepared for Knighton being in goal. But I think he did himself a lot of good today, and I asked Heaps, as you heard afterwards, if it's possibly like really put him in the thing for a starting spot, but I thought Knighton did well.
Yeah, Knighton, I was surprised they didn't pressure more. That's the problem, though. They only got 4 on target. And it wasn't enough to pressure him. So, whatever the case, he came in. He obviously had a little bit of extra motivation, being the team that traded him, and I think or released him. I can't remember what happened at that time. But basically, they brought in Olset to replace him. Although he's not going to say it, he definitely had extra motivation.
But he did say a few things, and Steve, you went into the New England locker room afterwards, so we're going to hear a little bit now from former Whitecap Brad Knighton, and we're also going to hear from winning goal scorer, sadly, Kelyn Rowe.
Brad, first of all, can you just talk about the result here, particularly in context of Wednesday night, playing 120 minutes in the heat and then coming all the way out here to Vancouver and picking up 3 points?
Yeah, it's just, we rolled our sleeves up, did what we had to do and got the result. It's a massive win for us on the road. We knew it was going to be a tough week for us playing 2 games on the road, but everyone, believed that we could do it, and we pulled out the result here as well.
Did you also know it was going to be a little bit of kind of holding on there at the end, because it seemed like the last 15, 20 minutes or so, the legs probably getting pretty tired. It just kind of became an exercise and just holding on to the result.
Yeah, totally. If we kept our shape, we knew we were in good spots, and they were going to have trouble breaking us down. And like you said, tired legs. Playing 120 on Wednesday and then having to come here, fly across North America and come play here. And it's a very tough place to play here. So the guys did a fantastic job in front of me, and it's a great result for us.
A little extra added motivation playing against the former team and getting the win?
Yeah, anytime to be able to come back to Vancouver is something special. So very fortunate and grateful for the opportunity, and I'm just glad to have this team in winning ways right now. And we've won 3 in a row right now, so we're going to keep this thing going, and hopefully more to come.
Will this be the type of result that gets you up really mobile in the East? Because it's there for the taking with any team right now, whether you're down the bottom end or right end, how tight it is.
Yeah, it's super tight in the East as well as it is in the West, but for us, if we can get a couple wins going, we take one at a time. You'll see us moving up the table, but we're taking it one game at a time. And anyone in this league, you go through your ups and downs through the league, and it's how you weather the storm and how you bounce back from going through those rough spells. And we're on the right path right now, and hopefully continue that way.
Kelyn, how did it feel to get the match winner against the Whitecaps with friends and family in attendance tonight?
It was good. I think it was a good team goal for us. Daigo coming off. I think Daigo won the ball, and then Teal got his head up and played a good ball in, and all he did was put it back to the net.
Surprised that you were that much open?
It's one of those that if you peel atop the box, a lot of times defenders will drop into that danger 6 zone. So I try to find open space, and Teal found me in a good ball. Let's talk about the result here. First road win of the season, and in context of coming here straight from North Carolina after a really long kind of slog on Wednesday night. Yeah, it was tough. Wednesday was hot in North Carolina. It was a long one. You had the delay. A lot of guys played a lot of minutes, and then the flight over. So this is definitely a great result for us. 1, it's on the road, and 2, it's a good opponent in Vancouver. So we're glad that we get away with 3 points and we get to go home for a little bit and then off to DC. 4 wins in 5 if you go back to before the break. So is the confidence growing in the group a little bit? Definitely. I think the confidence has been growing all year. We've didn't have the best start, but I don't think it was terrible. And we're now starting to find our form and finding goals and creating chances for us to win a game rather than just tie or lose. So I think we're getting better each game, and that's what you want. You want to be hitting your stride towards the end of the year.
So Brad Knighton and Kelyn Rowe there. And there was 2 other players that everyone was looking forward to maybe seeing at the game today. One was Gerson Kofi, who didn't travel with his knee injury. I'm sure he would have got a rousing reception from the hardcore Whitecaps fans today. But somebody that did actually get a rousing reception after the game, which a lot of folk won't have seen, was Kei Kamara. Now, the Southsiders seem to be doing some kind of recording afterwards. We're doing a number of
EA
chants.
Sports or something like that.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
So they're recording some chants for EA Sports. And Kei Kamara was walking across the pitch. They started in a, "We wish you were ours, we wish you were ours, Kei Kamara, we wish you were ours." And they kept that going for a little bit. And then Kai actually came over and spoke to them, which I thought was a class act. So, Great guy. He could have been a Whitecap. Or so some people say. The Whitecaps say no, they weren't interested in him. But Kei Kamara says otherwise. And Steve, you got a chance to ask Kamara about that and a few other things as well after the game. So let's just hear a little bit now from New England Revolution striker, and it still feels a little bit weird saying that, Kei Kamara.
The coach was saying that you haven't scored a goal yet with New England, but you're contributing in so many other ways, including helping with the Rowe goal because you occupy 2 defenders. Is that very important for you to concentrate on 2?
I mean, I think I know that I haven't scored one yet, but I think I still have some goals in the MLS, and I'm not worried at all. Really right now, being part of this team, playing, 4 games, 5 including cup games, and getting, mostly wins. To me, it's just perfect, and that's really what I want to, to just add into the team. Whatever energy or venom I can add with these guys going forward, us getting wins, going up in the table. That's better than goals for me.
Coming here to Vancouver, it's kind of surreal because at the time of the trade deadline, a lot of people were reporting that you were coming to Vancouver. How did it feel coming here, considering you were almost traded here? That's what everyone's saying.
It's a good place. I mean, I love Vancouver. I love, coming to play here. Fans are awesome. It was amazing to hear that, they were trying to get me. But it's good. It's positive when you know that people want you, I have really good relationship with some of the guys here, and, even playing against the coach for a long time, a while back. But just being here, I actually thought 90+% that I was going to come here, but it didn't happen. So it's kind of surreal, as you say.
Was that people telling you that, or was that things you were hearing on like social media?
It's a small league. We all know each other in this league, and we're all brothers in this league. So the words get around, and the only word that didn't get around was me going to New England.
Official.
It was me going to New England, but it's good.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Yeah.
So Kei Kamara there revealing that over 90% he thought he was coming here, and the last place he thought he was going was New England.
Yeah, regular contributor to our podcast, Har, had it on Red Nation Online that when she spoke to him, same thing. But the interesting thing was that when I asked him about the social media thing, was it just social media? And he was saying no, he heard it from people around the league. It wasn't just what he was hearing there, and it looked like he was surprised that he was going to New England. Very shocked. He didn't hear anything about New England, so obviously New England came in at that last second.
Yeah, I'd still like to see him here because he's a guy that can actually finish chances. And this is MLS, never say never.
Yeah, and I hope October Rivera wasn't there when they were chanting that song, because he was rumored to be going the other way when that happened.
Yeah, and there was rumours this week about Octavio possibly being linked with a couple of clubs in Uruguay.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rivera is in a rich vein of form.
Yeah.
Couldn't play today because of his suspension, but he is going to be available for the game on Tuesday night. Very short turnaround for the Caps. And surprisingly, actually, the Caps are training here on Monday, and they're not flying out until Monday afternoon to Toronto. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to really have any time to get used to
the humid weather. Yeah. I think it's very humid there in Toronto now.
And especially because it's pouring rain and freezing here.
Yeah.
Although it is meant to be nice on Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, game coming up. Canadian Championship first leg, Toronto FC. Javinko's back for Toronto, but the Whitecaps, you have to feel that they can now play Pedro, they can play Kendall because he's not suspended for those games, Bolaños, Perez.
Well, they have the full lineup. They can play anybody they want to at that point.
Do you think, though, that they will go for a super strong lineup, or are we going to see a mixture? Because on the bench today we had McKendry and Bustos.
And Bustos played today too.
Yeah, and I actually thought he did not bad for the few minutes
because
that he
wasn't playing on the wing.
Yeah, he was active.
Don't play him on the wing. Play him centrally.
I know.
And you can see what
saying that
do.
Now. But how do you think that Rowe is going to go on Tuesday? Is he going to go with a strong lineup?
I think it's going to be a mixture. I think that he'll obviously see who's feeling good on Monday and everything. And I think he will use, because it's a Tuesday and the next game's on Saturday in Philadelphia, I think they'll probably stay on the East Coast the whole week. They're not going to travel all the way back to Vancouver. Because it's Tuesday, that gives, even if whoever plays on Tuesday can probably easily play on Saturday. Because it's the week, it's not that short of a week as it normally would be, Wednesday to Saturday. So I think he plays a mixture.
I think we'll see Tornaghi in goal again because he did really well against Ottawa.
I would see, and I see his last year where they play Ulster in the second league, possibly make sure they win.
Probably Smith, Adekugbe, and Parker and Seiler as your centre backs,
or Seiler or Waston. He hasn't played for a while.
Oh, of course. I was just mentioning Waston as well.
Yeah, so maybe Seiler and Waston.
Seiler gets a little nod at centre back, and Tim plays right back.
Possibly, we'll see what they do because Fraser Aird is still, I think, away on.
But I think we have to see Pedro in it because we need him. We need his influence, and for me, if they can get an away goal, even if it's a 2-1 defeat, even if it's a 3-1 defeat, if they can get an away goal out there, I'm confident that they can get this job done and retain the trophy.
What I'd like to see is do Pedro and then do McKendry with possibly Bustos up top, because Pedro and Bustos might have a good, they were almost a mentor mentee kind of relationship. So it could be a good combination there. Good chemistry. Both one Chilean and one Chilean descent.
He's Canadian now.
Canadian
important
now.
To stress that.
Yes. Don't worry, anybody. And then obviously on the wings, I don't see Mane playing there. I don't play Sechera because they played I think they played 90 minutes. They didn't come off, so they're going to have to figure out who else can play wing.
I think Bolaños will start on the wing.
Oh, and maybe Froze on the other side or something like that.
Whatever has happened to Froze, he wasn't even on the bench today.
Yeah, maybe he's got a
He could
knock.
be playing USL tomorrow just to have a full game or something.
And he almost might have had a knock too. You never know. And then up top, why not put Rivera or Perez? One of the two.
I'd go both, but I think that might be a little bit too.
You think maybe
too
4-4-2?
I'd like to see that.
I would too.
But that's just me. What's your prediction then?
It's hard to say. If they do a very young squad, I think they lose.
Yeah, I do. I don't think they score either.
I think by a couple of goals, maybe even 3. If they go with a mixed, then they have a chance to squeak out a draw with an away goal.
So I'm going to go 3-1 if they play a strong team, and 3-0 if they don't.
Okay, so they get that away goal.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the crucial thing in this as well.
I'll say 2-1 with a strong team and or even medium team, and then I would say 4-0 with a weak team.
And what I would like to see as well is in stoppage time, Robo has one substitution left. He brings on Jordan Smith.
And takes out Giovinco.
He takes out Giovinco, and then fantastic.
Yeah.
Jordan Smith, folk hero.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. And talking of Christmas, it's Christmas in June for us at AFTN every year because it's the USSDA playoffs.
Yes.
And that means it's Residency Week. And this podcast is actually going to kick off Residency Week, and we'll explain why shortly. But Residency Week, it's back in Texas, back down in Frisco. Both the Caps under 18s and under 16 sides are seeded for the tournament. The 18s are seeded 7th. The 16s, after a phenomenal season, are seeded 3rd. Both have fairly, I don't want to say easy because you don't know, but it's like very winnable groups. The 18s, there was a late switch, no controversy. No bias here, but they had 3 wildcard teams. And then there was a glitch with the submission of an LA Galaxy score towards the end, which gave them a different ranking, and now they've got LA Galaxy.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
No controversy.
No.
Never happens.
But the 16s, they've got, which looks on paper again, and with the form that they've been in, a really strong thing as well. But the 18s are on a 29-game unbeaten run.
Yeah.
30 if you include the win they had over Van United in a friendly as well. And the 16s, they've won 11 out of their last 12. So in that 29-game unbeaten run, the 18s had a lot of draws, but that was 10 straight wins that the 16s had. Then they lost a game, then they finished the season with a win. Very hopeful for both sides. We're going to have a lot coming up for Residency Week, as always, Steve.
Yeah, we're going to have interviews with certain players, and we're hopefully get some rankings done. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm just trying to speak to a few more people and trying to get an overall look at what the prospects look like.
And we're going to also hear from both coaches, Rich Fagan for the 18s and Adam Day for the 16s, and a few chats with them as well. So watch out for that. It's running all week on AFTN, and it's one of our favourite times of the year. So as I said, we're going to kick off Residency Week with this podcast. And we're going to speak to our Residency alumni. It's a guy we've been trying to get on the podcast for a while. Time differences and a very, very busy schedule has kind of presented.
Unexpected busy schedule, because I don't think he was expecting to play this much.
No, and he's revealed he's actually training at least 6, sometimes 7 days a week.
Wow.
And when he's not training, he's playing. So we finally got a chance to catch up with him. He was back in Vancouver for a week's break. Back from Scotland. Yes, we're talking about former Whitecap Dario Zanatta. 14 appearances for Hearts, first team in the SPFL and Scottish Cup this year, and a number of appearances for the under-20 side, banging in a number of goals.
And a former winner of a Umbrella Academy Player of the Year.
Yeah. So we had a good chance to chat with Dario just about what took him to Scotland, how he's settling in at Hearts, just the season that he's had, his contract extension, even touched a little bit about his Canadian hopes for the future and the caps that he's had for Canada so far. So let's hear now from former Whitecap, current Jambo, Dario Zanatta. guess the first thing to talk to you about is like you went over, like you left the Whitecaps in I think February last year, and then when you went over to Europe, you had a couple of trials, different people in England, Scotland, stuff like that. Was it getting to the stage that you were getting a little bit frustrated, or did you always know that something was going to happen for you?
It's a little like it was frustrating at times, like because of course you want everything to go well, but I was just really positive in the way I was looking at it, and I was very hopeful. Like before last summer, when I knew I was going back for another trial and they were interested in me, that's when it gave me the real drive to push on, and I thought that there was a good opportunity because when I went there, I thought I showed well the first time. So I never really got after my trial at Ipswich. When I was there for a few weeks, that's when I got, and it ended up not working. That's when I was a little, I'd say, upset and a little down on myself. But after that, I picked myself up and moved on from there. And I thought that I'd find somewhere for myself, basically.
I mean, making the move overseas at such a young age, especially on your own, it's such a big thing to do. Yeah. Did you were you in two minds about it, or were you just so focused that you wanted to have this pro career and you knew like there's way better opportunities for you over in Europe than you would ever get over here?
Yeah, the way I was looking at it was I wanted to make something of that, and I just thought that over in Vancouver, like it would have been a really tough pathway to make it to the first team, and I thought that like I had to make a sacrifice if I wanted something to come from it almost. I was thinking about going to college and everything like that, but like that wasn't my goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My goal was to become professional, and I knew that it's not like I had to go sign for a massive club or anything like that. I just knew that in Europe there's going to be tons of opportunities. So I knew that if things were to go well, and I just played to what I thought I was capable of, and just keep on improving, that there was a good chance there. So for me, it was just more making the decision of finding out where the right place was for me, because I knew that I was willing to make the sacrifice of moving over there, and it's just gone so well. So it looks like such a good decision so far.
Yeah, I mean, everything's worked out fantastic, and like the good thing about going to Europe is, apart from there being so many clubs, you've got like if people here sign for Whitecaps too, they still can't play for the MLS team because they have to have an MLS contract. Whereas, like you can do well, like you did with the under-20s, and right away, if you do well, they'll pull you into the first team setup. So that must have been a big thing for you.
No, that's definitely it's one of the big things about it too. Is if you're signed to the club, you can play for any of the levels. So. Like, even I was watching the Whitecaps game last night, and a boy like Alfonso did so well, but he's not signed to an MLS contract, so I think that's like a little tough that'd be tough for him, even knowing that he could have done so well, but it's not like he could play for the rest of the season or however long they take to sign him. But I knew that if I went over there and I proved myself even with the under-20s, that I could easily be involved with the first team quite quickly. And I think that's one of the big bonuses of playing over in Europe, you know what I mean? And it's something that I think that like hinders some of the boys in Vancouver or in MLS and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know with Alfonso and all the USL guys now, there's a new clause in the contract where they can be called up 4 times over the year.
Oh, okay. That's new to me.
Yeah, it just changed this year, but Alfonso's now already used 2 of those.
Oh, really?
So... Yeah, so if they want him to play against Toronto, then he can't play any more for them for the rest of the year. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, well, yeah, that's strange, you'd think. No, I was quite impressed with Alfonso last night. I did really well.
Yeah, it's tough for young guys to break into any teams. And, like, going to Hearts, like, first of all, what took you to Hearts? How did that come about?
Basically, my agent that I worked with, he got in contact with the club, and they were interested in a younger attacking type player like myself. So I thought that my agent thought it was probably a good fit. He thought that the level would be up to my standards I was looking for, and he thought that there's something I could, if things went well, that I could progress quite quickly with. So basically, I went there on trial, and everything went well, and I enjoyed it. There was a good group of boys, and I felt wanted there. So that's why I signed for them and everything.
And you've certainly done fantastic. You started off in the under-20s, and I know you made some pre-season appearances before you signed. You actually played against my club, East Fife. Yeah, and you probably don't know this, but because you were playing there, I told the manager, keep an eye on Dario, who's a really good prospect. and you really impressed him, and he actually wanted to take you on loan. Yeah, but Hearts had said no, that it was way too early. They wanted to see how you progressed, and then obviously it's been fantastic for you because you've. Yeah, and did in your wildest dreams? I know you would hope to do it, but did you think you would get those first team opportunities so quickly?
No, not at all. Like the way I was looking at it was, my goal was to almost train with, like, get more opportunities just to train with the first team, like when things were going well at the start of the year, and then basically just how things worked. I knew that if I kept on working hard, like it would only take a little while to maybe start making the squad and maybe get on the bench the odd week. But I never expected to play the 14 times that I have and started a few games. You know what I mean? I played against big clubs like Celtic and Hibs, like rival games like Hibs. So it's gone way better than I could even hope for. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's been great, honestly.
I was going to ask you about the Celtic and Hibs game, so I'll may as well mention that now. So, playing against Celtic, one of the biggest clubs in Scotland, packed house, fans, fantastic. I mean, what was that occasion like for you?
No, it was unbelievable. Honestly, that was my first home game too. So it was an opportunity. I got to play at home in front of the home crowd and everything like that, and just to know that some of the boys that I was going out to play against were such a high level and everything like that, and the reputation. I don't think that people over here would understand what it means to them over there, some of the fans and everything it is, and to play against Celtic. And no, it was unbelievable. And even just in the other game against Hibs in the Cup, it was like...
I know it wasn't a good result in the end, but...
But still, I've been to Whitecap Sportland games, and it's a decent atmosphere, but just to be involved in this and to see how much it means to the whole city and all the fans was unbelievable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even to the club, even though how it didn't go as planned, of course, but just knowing the feeling afterwards and how much it meant to everyone, even myself too. It was my first year there, but it's something that you pick up on so quickly. You know what I mean? And it was great. It was a great learning experience, definitely.
Yeah, I mean the Hibs Heart rivalry. It's good natured banter on the whole. There is a little bit of hatred there. But it's not as bad as Rangers and Celtic, in which you can walk around Edinburgh and it's like Hibs fans aren't going to really hassle you.
But from what I've heard from, there's a few boys on the team that of course are from Glasgow, and they've told me a little bit about what it's like and everything like that, and the Old Firm games and how much it means to some of them. It's something that I would have never thought it's so meaningful to some people. You know what I mean? It's all they care about is going to the games on the weekends and supporting their club. And I'd love to be able to go and experience one of those games. But even just the Edinburgh Derby is quite meaningful to everyone.
Yeah, and you made your debut against Partick Thistle away from home. When were you told you were going to be in the squad for that? And when you first came on, what was going through your mind when you ran on the pitch for the first time?
No, basically, probably 3 or 4 weeks beforehand is when I first made my first appearance on the bench. It was against Dundee United, and basically after that, I knew that if I just kept on pushing on, that my chance would come. And I knew going into the game against Partick that we had beat them earlier in the year 4-0 or something like that, or 3-0. So I thought that day that could have been the chance, and basically how it happened was we went up 3-0 around the 60th minute, and I was looking around on the bench. I'm like, oh, this might be the day. Running on, of course, I was nervous. Of course, I was nervous. It was my first opportunity, but I enjoyed it really much, and I just knew that there wasn't much pressure on me because by then it was 4-0 almost when I came on, so I knew that the game was almost set, and I just wanted to go and improve myself. And after getting that first experience of playing, it just gave me the want to have more of it. You know what I mean?
Has it been hard moving up and down from between the first team and the under-20s?
I wouldn't say so for myself, really. Of course, I got lots of opportunities training with the first team before I ever had the experience of going down the bench or anything like that. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, was just trying to get used to it in training. And then once I felt comfortable with that, I knew that if my chances came with the first team, I'd be comfortable and ready for it. So I think also I still really enjoy playing with the 20s, because I think it's a good opportunity for myself to show why I've had those chances to play with the first team. So even if by leading by example or just playing well. You know what I mean? It's just working hard. It's really important that I make sure that even as this year, if I have to play for the 20s at times too, it's important to make sure that I'm proving myself every game and not thinking that I'm better than that, because I'm definitely not. I know I need to still keep improving myself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key thing that they want to see. They want to see what your attitude's like when you go down there. It's like when the Whitecaps here, when they put the MLS guys down to USL, they want to see what their attitude's like and to see if they feel that they're too big for that. But I mean, you then got offered a new contract, so you've signed with Hearts now until May 2019.
Yeah.
So having that kind of, I guess, settled future, it must really make you more comfortable and know that you can just like knuckle down now. You still have to prove yourself, but you've still got that security almost.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a big moment for myself knowing that when they offered me a new deal, because it made me feel that basically that they had a big interest in myself. You know what I mean, going forward, and they clearly see a future with me if they were to offer for the contract they gave me and everything. So for being so long, and it's definitely one of those things now that I know that I can't take my foot off the gas and relax and think that, I got 3 more years left, it's all good. But it's one of those things that I want to go prove myself even more now and get a new deal, and you know what I mean, and push on from there. So it was a really big moment for myself signing the new deal and almost moving up a little bit in the system. So it's definitely something that I know that just because I have the security of the deal, it doesn't mean that things can't change and new members can come into the staff or anything like that. So I know that and every week and every training session I need to keep on proving myself.
And no pressure on you, but like the fact you haven't got your first goal yet, is that playing on your mind at all? At least your first team goal. You've been banging them in for the 20s, but you've had your chances. You had a couple that I really thought you were going to tuck away, and does it play on your mind at all?
Nah, it's one of those things that I've scored lots of goals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that eventually that my chance will come for the first team, and the way I look at it is I'm comfortable in front of that and everything like that, and I've scored lots when I was in Vancouver, and I scored a decent amount this year for the 20s, so I know that once I get the first one, that I hope that many more will follow.
And this year, Hearts are in Europe as well, so I mean, to go and play some games possibly in Europe, that must be an exciting prospect for you.
No, it's massive. I think that it's massive for the club because it's the first year we've been there in a few years. And
yeah.
It's definitely, everyone is quite excited for it because things can go well. You win a few games and you can end up playing against big clubs like Manchester United in the Europa League this year, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think the way that everyone's looking at it is a really good opportunity to prove yourself. And if I get a chance to play in the Europa, qualifiers or in the Europa League this year, it'd be something that I could remember forever. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I know everyone here is like, everyone's following you really closely and to see how you get on. Away from the footballing side, how have you settled in Edinburgh? I mean, I love Edinburgh. I'm from about 40 minutes north of it.
Yeah, Flesh, isn't it? I like Flesh too.
Yeah, it's a wonderful city. There's so much history there, and
yeah, definitely.
Like in August when the festival is on, it's fantastic. Have you had a good chance to explore it?
Yeah, definitely. At the start of the year, lots of people told me about the festival, and I made sure that I live quite close to town also, so I take a little bus ride in there and I go see the festival. I went to see as much as I could from the festival.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, definitely. But yeah, just getting used to living there was of course, the first few months were hard because you're so far away from home.
Yeah.
But the family I lived with was quite nice, and it made me feel quite at home. And also the boys, getting to know my teammates made it easier. You know what I mean? Creating a few friendships on the team and hanging out with guys off the field and stuff like that made it easy. And the way I look at it, I knew it was going to be hard to move away, but it was what I wanted. It's what I like, seeing new parts of the world and seeing new cities and seeing the history of that. And I've really enjoyed living there and seeing what it's like, definitely.
I was going to ask you where you were living. So do they kind of put you almost in a billet house like the Residency do here? Yeah.
Well, I was with because when I signed on it was the 20s, so I was in a billet house for the first year, and this year I'm looking to probably get my own place. But for the third year, I'll be back in a billet house, so that's something to look forward to, and getting my own place and stuff like that would be quite nice.
How have you found dealing with the accent and stuff? Because it can be a bit tricky sometimes. I've got quite a mild one, but
it's funny. I love listening to some of the boys from Glasgow. The ones from anyone from Edinburgh is quite easy to understand.
Yeah, it's the ones from Dundee you have to watch. That's really tough.
Yeah, we don't have any boys from there, thankfully, but there's a few boys that are from like Motherwell and Glasgow and areas like that are. I find it funny to listen to. They speak so quickly and they almost mumble, some of them, which is funny to listen to. But no, I'm fine. I've picked up some of the slang and the way they talk, so it's all good.
And like, what about the food? Because obviously Scotland's not known for its healthy eating. Have you had? Did they make you try haggis or a deep fried Mars bar or anything?
No, I've tried to stay away from too many things like that. I've tried a little bit of haggis, but the food's fine. The food's fine. You can always find restaurants that you like to eat at, and little things like that. Food's up to you how you want to make it and everything like that. The way I look at it is so. No, it's all good.
What's been the toughest thing for you so far? Like with settling in, is it just do you miss home, or has it been pretty smooth really? Or
no, yeah, I miss home definitely. I really enjoy living in Vancouver, and I miss living with my parents, of course. But the hardest thing almost for myself was getting used to being more full time. I'd say even at Vancouver, I was still going to high school and everything like that.
Yeah.
But right now, with Hearts, we were there for I was there for 11 months basically. So it's full on 6 days a week. We train roughly 6 or 7. So it's not. There's no time off, and that's what I felt that was the toughest part. But after you get used to it a little bit, it's enjoyable. You know what I mean? And let's see. Of course, it's hard living away from home, but I'm just turned 19 now, so it's not like I need my mom taking care of me all the time now. So,
yeah, that's true. Because your birthday was in May, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you played some games for Canada. Sometimes it's hard when the Canadian guys go to Scottish clubs. The Scottish clubs won't release you for certain dates. I mean, has it been tricky, or have Hearts been really good, and are they quite keen for you to go and play with Canada?
No, I think they're quite keen for me to go away and play with them and everything like that. All the camps we've had so far have been around international breaks, so it's worked out quite well.
Right.
But no, they're quite supportive, and they like the fact that I'm getting away with the national team quite often and getting called up. So I think that being here has really helped my opportunities with the national team. To be honest, I think that it's proven that I'm taking things seriously, quite seriously now, and that I'm trying to make myself something from the game. You know what I mean? So I think that even the CSAs realize that, and it's the last few camps have gone really well for me.
Well, that's fantastic. Just the last thing, I don't like to get folk to put on the spot and put goals for the year, but I mean, what are you hoping for this season ahead? Obviously, a first goal and more appearances, but just in general, what are you really hoping for the season that's coming up?
For myself, really, the way I'm looking at it is to prove myself as a full-time first-team player this year. So I'd hope to get probably a few more appearances than I did this year at least, and quite a few more starts, and just trying to push on from the good first year I had is what I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully with Canada too, it would be good to qualify for the Under-20 World Cup, because we have qualifiers not too far away. So
yeah,
that'd be another good opportunity. So I'm looking forward to this year. So it could be a good year for myself to push on, and also with Canada to do well. Well,
thanks so much for your time, Dario, and we'll keep a close eye on you as always. The move you've done, I think it's been the best thing for you. Definitely. You're doing really well, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll talk soon.
Perfect. Look forward to it, man.
That's great. Cheers, Dario.
Okay. All right.
AFTN. If you can spell it, then here's what it says. Heart, heart, glorious heart. It's down at Tynecastle, Levi. The talk of the tune of the boys in maroon, and the richtings of custom with pride.
So Dario Zanatta there, and having a great time over in Scotland, as he would, because Edinburgh's a fantastic city.
What could have been if he stayed here.
Yeah, but I mean, as we talked about there, I think the opportunities for him are way, way more over in Scotland.
And because more exposure, especially.
Yeah,
he's gonna. A lot of people are gonna see him in different leagues.
Yeah, he'd still be in the USL team if he had signed here. He wouldn't be getting first team minutes, whereas now he's got a chance to play in Europe.
Yeah.
And depending on how Hearts do and what draw they get, he could end up playing at Old Trafford or somewhere
crazy
in the Europa League.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's doing well. We wish him well. But that's the start for our Residency Week stuff. Watch out for the rest of it on aftn.ca. Just before we go, a quick chat about the other football that's been going on in the last couple of weeks. Copa America in full flow. Quarterfinals are nearly finished by the time you listen to this. America-Argentina is set up as being a cracking semi-final.
I think
Argentina's going to hammer them.
And you did you speak to Messi or you just watched him play?
I shouted a question at him in the mixed zone, but he wasn't doing any English.
Yeah, I figured.
And
but it must have been exciting to watch him play, though.
It was, and I was up in the press box for the first half, and it was a very subdued atmosphere, and you couldn't really hear much of the crowd. So I thought, half time, I'm going to go down, see if there's any empty seats.
Yeah.
And I found one just a couple of rows from the front. So I watched the second half pretty much right behind the Argentine bench. And I was there right behind Messi when he came on. And I tweeted this out and I wrote about it as well. I've never been a guy that gets blown away by just individual players. I wouldn't play just to go and see a player because it's a team sport. And when guys have paid to come and see Beckham here or whoever, I just don't get that. But seeing Messi close up and seeing how he played and the little things he does off the ball, but more so the excitement that was generated.
The buzz.
Yeah, it was hard not to get caught up in that. Every time he got the ball, everyone stood up. Everyone had their camera phones out, and it's like they're just trying to take stuff. And it was amazing to see.
Well, in
actually.
this case, you didn't have to pay either. You got in for free.
Yeah.
So you still have your streak going. Where you don't
Scottish,
pay
that was a big boost.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic to see him.
No, if you get a chance to see him, I think I would definitely
different class.
Yeah.
Really have to say that. And he was so sought after afterwards. He did some Spanish interviews, didn't do any English. I did get to shout a question at Sergio Aguero, and he did shout an answer back as he ran past me. So that's a win. Oh. Asked him how he thought the tournament had been in the States, and he shouted "Good, great" as he ran by. Might have that on audio. If I do, I will stick it in, but I don't think it's going to be really...
Maybe at the beginning of the podcast you can put it in there.
Could be anyone really in a Spanish accent kind of saying that. But I mean...
Nicholas Pesquito.
I think Copa's been great, and I think it's...
I haven't had a chance to watch it because
that's
of the fact
frustrating thing. It's not on English TV here.
No, it's you have to pay like $8 per game.
But you can also get $8 a month to watch it on Univision, but it's all in Spanish. Yeah. And some folk have said, who wouldn't want to watch it in Spanish? Me. It's like, seriously, I cannot watch a whole game in Spanish every single day.
I barely can watch the highlights in Spanish. Yeah. It's just I don't. Maybe it's just that we're not brought up in that atmosphere, but it almost seems like even listening to them, seems like off a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. It's nothing against them. I'm sure they're saying the right things, but
I think it's been a fantastic tournament. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I really got into it. I was down for the US game as well on Thursday, and trying really hard not to cheer when Ecuador pulled it back to 2-1, and it was getting really exciting. I was sitting beside some folk from France who were cheering on the States for some weird reason. But there was an Ecuador guy when that goal went in, like out a big "Yay!" in the press box. That was an exciting game. America, lots of guys suspended for the game against Argentina.
That's not going to help.
It's hard not to see Argentina win it now. And considering that they put on the very first Copa America, which they didn't win, Uruguay won it, it would be kind of fitting that they win the 100th one.
Yeah. Well, then you also got the Euros happening.
Yeah. Which I would have gone over to if Scotland had been in it.
But. Yeah. But I like we were talking about earlier about the refereeing has been real. I thought, while there haven't been that many goals, but the goals when they do come in, last minute goals, and that makes it more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a tournament with so many late goals.
Like you almost like, okay, I'll right at this point you're right now going, okay, I'll turn it on in the 80th minute, then I'll start watching and see what happens.
Well, I tell you what I'd been doing. It's like I hadn't been watching the first halves of games.
Yeah.
Because when they were starting and stuff, I was just like staying in bed, switch on at half time. Oh, still 0-0. That's what I expected. Don't miss anything.
No games. I don't think any game has been out of reach in the first half at all. It's all been tight, and then it's great late finishes by a lot of teams, and some surprising results. The Hungary, I did not expect them to be on top of the group at this point.
No, and Iceland, of course, everyone's favourites that every neutrals want to go on.
But I do agree with Ronaldo. They looked like they had won the World Cup when they drew Portugal.
Well, he looked like he'd lost the World Cup after that penalty miss today. So that was justice.
Yeah.
But It's been some great games. Sadly, England got that winner against Wales.
Still exciting though, even though maybe not for you, but for a neutral.
I was in my hotel room swearing, so God knows what the folk in the room next door were thinking. Who's your tip to win it then, or who do you fancy so far? Or who's your dark horse as well?
I'd rather go dark horse. The teams that are, for some reason, the teams that are boring for me and everybody's so excited over is like Germany, Italy. Maybe because they always win it seems like it's just boring to see them.
I could see Italy grinding their way to a string of 1-0 wins and lifting the trophy.
And in Germany too, they've only scored 2 goals in 2 games, and both of them were in the same game. So they're playing like they're kind of all the big teams are kind of building up as the thing goes, and that's what it seems like is happening. So one team I had going was Croatia. They seem really good in their first game, but now who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah,
they're even going to play
in the tournament.
Oh my God, the flares! I thought Russia, England, and Wales were bad, but this was worse.
The guy the one that blew up in his face.
I thought that was something that he was going to lose a hand.
Yeah,
I
thought he was going to be blind or something. That really was insane. And then they fighting amongst themselves as well.
Well, I think what it is the people who threw it, the people who were against throwing it, they were fighting against those guys and trying to stop them from doing it.
But there's been trouble. I mean, there's trouble at the Hungary-Iceland game today as well, because Hungarian fans were trying to cross barriers to get in with their own fans.
Oh.
And then there was arrests, and because I didn't know what had happened. I'd put the game on a few minutes late, and I was like, why is there all this riot police in front of the Hungary fans? I thought, they're Hungary fans.
Yeah.
But there'd been trouble before the game started. My dark horse, if you can really call them a dark horse, is, I guess, Belgium.
Yeah. But they've won 3-0.
Yeah, I'm saying they're a dark horse because they lost their first game.
Yeah.
But I was speaking to a Belgian journalist today at the game, and he said, no, don't waste your money on them. They're not going to do anything.
Well, I don't see any team obviously nobody sees a team like when Greece won it a few years ago. Nobody expected them to win it. Nobody even could call them a dark horse. It's everybody who is always going to pick one of the top teams, and then
it all depends on the draw as well. And I don't like
because the third place teams too. That's the issue.
I don't like that. The expanded format's great, having the 24 teams in it, but I would have eight groups of 3 or something. Or
I know this would really dilute the thing, but you'd rather have 32 teams then, and then they have the top 2 from each group make it, so you know where everybody's going to fit in.
Yeah, and then Scotland might have got in. Probably not though. Faroes would have got in before.
To be honest with you, I think Scotland's better than some of the teams that are in there right now. And I think they play.
I have been watching some of the games like Austria, and you're like, God, how could Scotland not be there?
Because I think Scotland, if they were in any other group, they would have advanced.
Yeah,
just to be in a group with Germany,
three
Poland,
people from our group are in it, and it's like, okay.
But
it's hard to see past Spain. I do kind of think the home crowd could take France over the line.
I think France would probably it has to be the favourite because they're home.
And I just want Dimitri Payet to do.
Yeah, he's been playing really well. West Ham should be scared.
Yeah, if they can keep hold of him, it's going to be amazing. But they need him.
Yeah.
But it's been good. It's been a great month of football. A lot more still to come. Canadian Championship, as we mentioned, the Residency playoffs, USL games, just so much.
My kids' U8 season ended though today.
Oh.
It was a rough game.
Did they win?
No, they lost, but the opposing coach had a great strategy. It was basically he was just yelling, "Go get him," and shoot.
That's my kind of coach.
And clear it. That's 3 things he said to everybody. Go get him.
That's like perfect coaching. Well, anyway, that's it for this episode of the podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. Just before we go, Steve, let everyone know where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
And I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Read all our stuff, AFTN, away from the numbers, on aftn.ca. As we said, watch out for Residency Week and that. I'm also the Whitecaps beat reporter for MLSsoccer.com and the Western Conference reporter for USLsoccer.com, so check out my stuff there as well. But until next time, thanks for listening. Take care. Good luck to the Residency down in Texas next week. And mon the Caps.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.